Hey y'all, welcome back to Indie Flicks. On this episode, we will be dissecting Love Island Season 7, Episode 8, which again, the fiery tension and drama is building. We are finally getting in the thick of it. So let's get started and talk about it. And if you're new here, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more recaps. All right, at the beginning of this episode, Jeremiah and Huda have a discussion. And I don't know about y'all, but when they were talking, he just was given checked out. Like, he kind of told her that he doesn't like the way that she talks to him or maybe at him. She kind of, gives him like a pat on like a good job, and he's taking that in the sense of like, I'm not your child, I'm not an animal, like you don't have to pat me for good behavior. And it could just be the natural motherly instinct that she has. But this was like our first little crack in their dynamic, I think. Where he's kind of looking at her like, is this becoming too much? Like, I don't know about this. And she's a little taken aback by it, but then he made a comment towards the end, like she be gaslighting him, but they also laughed. So was there some sincerity in that comment? Like, did he really mean what he said, or was it all just jokes? I don't know. So that same night, he pulls Alondria for a chat. And I'm not going to lie, I really enjoyed watching their chat. He's aware the girls know that Huda is a single mom. So he brings that up to her and kind of just wants to get her perspective on things and how he should go about it. And I feel like Alondria said everything right, letting him know, like, look, if you're gonna date Huda, you have to realize it's a package deal. Like, she comes with a child. He shared like this is his first time ever dealing with someone who has a child. So I feel like Alondria gave him really, really good advice on how to go about this. And also, I love that she even shared her own personal experience and the reason why she didn't proceed, talking to a guy who also had a child, which makes sense. Like, it's true, single parents in some sort of capacity will be dealing with that child's other parent, and they're not going nowhere. So Jeremiah has to realize, like, yeah, you have Huda, you're accepting that she has a child, but there's still this third party out there where you're listening to Huda and she explaining the dynamic, but you really won't know for sure until you get out of the villa. He also pulls a chat with Nick, who he sees as one of his close guy friends in the villa, and basically venting about, again, how Huda talks to him. And I don't know about y'all, but like I know I like to keep my personal relationship, I guess, if there are any issues to between us two. But if it gets to a point where I'm like venting to like my friends or my family about it, that means things are starting to like get rocky, and you want that peer perspective. So Nick didn't really give too much in because he knows how invested he is into Huda. But I don't know. I don't know if this is Jeremiah like looking like for someone to pull him to his senses. But it seems like we're getting to that point. Like he's about to wake up and realize, like, all right, this honeymoon phase came and went very, very fast. All right, we have more relationship drama. So, Shelley had previously stated she was going to focus more on Austin and her connection. She couldn't figure out what Ace really wants. So she woke up the next day, literally planning, to cook Austin breakfast and them getting to know each other and sitting down together. But she did not know Ace was also in the works of planning a surprise date where they were going to do yoga together. And he was like overly excited. He recruited Nick for his help as like the instructor for yoga. He was starting to set it up. He realized Shelley was outside already before everything was done. So he gave her like a heads up, like, hey, go ahead and get ready. Like, I got something for you. And she accepted it. She stopped the breakfast making and she was going to take him up on his offer. But then that's That's when things got heated. So all of a sudden, there's a back and forth between Shelley and Amaya. And we just going, Amaya is the crash out queen so far in the villa. Like, she's like, Shelley, I just need to know what's going on between you and Ace, da 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 da, like really going off. And I'm just as confused as Shelley is, like, yo, where are you coming from with all this? It's not like Amaya didn't know Ace and Shelley had a connection. Like, she kept saying Ace was never he never name dropped who he had girl, you knew who he had a connection with. I don't even know if Amaya even knew about the date, but I think it's because the night before Ace came into the bedroom and gave Shelley, the only girl in the bedroom, a hug. Amaya asked him if he was gonna give her a good night hug too, and he said nah, respectfully, because he's like, he friend zoned her, and I guess he's just really not feeling her, and I think that's eating at her, and it's hard for her to accept. Like, I get it, we all don't do well with denial, and I think that's what's happening here. Like, I think her lashing out on Shelley again is misplaced anger. It shouldn't have been towards Shelley. It should have been more towards Ace. So I don't know. But then, poor old Ace was just waiting outside for Shelley to come out so he could do his little date. But he had to go ahead and cancel it. It just, the vibe was totally off. Like, Amaya ruined it, which led into him now getting frustrated. So Ace now then takes Amaya to the pier or dock or whatever it's called to have a discussion. And he came very calmly. He's like, I really want you to speak how you feel. I want to have a chance to speak and tell you how I feel without interruptions so things are clarified. That did not last long. Amaya talked. He respectfully sat there and listened. And as soon as Ace started providing how he felt, Amaya was cutting in. The same thing she was doing with Shelley. She was just really going, well, I'm telling you, crashed out, which I just, again, we're not in the villa, so I'm sure feelings are heightened and moving at a faster pace than what it would be like outside the villa. But like, to crash out this early for a guy who you literally had a conversation about and agreed that y'all would just, be cool and stuff like that, it just doesn't make any sense. But then again, it resulted in Ace saying, like, look, I do not want to try to further a connection with you. Like, I'm off that. And she agreed, but we'll see. Like, I don't know. I get it. She's hurt. She thought there was a connection there, but it's still early days. There's still plenty of more men. I don't know if she's gonna pedal back to Austin. I actually think this might have turned Austin off because he did mention that she does scare him. So who knows? But Ace, it seems like he's gonna put more effort into Shelley, and this Amaya acting out like this kind of pushed it that way. So I don't know. It was a heated conversation between these two. So after Ace has this conversation with Amaya, of course he pulls Shelley literally while Shelley's talking to Austin. He don't care, which you gotta like you gotta go for what you want. But he's basically telling her exactly what he told Amaya, like, I'm good. Like, I'm done. We're done. There's nothing further going on that. So I really hope, and I hope he's not playing my girl. Like, I really hope he's being sincere. I really do. I'm still worried and concerned of new female bombshells coming in, Casa Amor, where Ace, he says he's a slow burner. That could also be an excuse to why he's keeping, the door open for other people. But I do feel like if this does happen again, Shelly's gonna have to move on. Like, it is what it is. Like, you've already shown or proved to this man that you feel something with him. It's up to him. And I will give him kudos though of coming up with the date. That was very spontaneous. It was, effort put into it, even pulling her away from Austin to have more additional chats. He's on the right path. So we'll see. All right, so let's get into some fun for this episode. There was definitely a challenge for all the islanders where they had a question they had to honestly answer, and they selected any of the islanders that they think the question applies to, and then they had to basically like flip this poster board on whether they get pied or if they get a kiss. So this challenge definitely heated up things. It was crazy. So Nick started off. He asked which islander other than your partner is the best kisser. He selected Alondria, which doesn't surprise me. That girl be putting that tongue out on everybody. So I wasn't surprised there. Hannah asked which islander would be the most basic in the bedroom. And she selected Austin, but she wasn't there when they had those questions of placing in the guys from most likely least or whatever. Austin don't give that. I don't think he gives that. Shelley asks which islander regrets coupling up with their current partner the most, and how ironic she's the one who gets to select this question. And she selected Ace. So she already know. We all know. The fight literally happened that same day. So she pulled him. Taylor asked which islander would be the most craziest in the bedroom. He selected Shelley, which I'm surprised. Like, I thought he would select Alondria since that's, his partner. But he selected Shelley, and, I don't know if it's because, Shelley classifies herself as like bisexual. So, who knows? But they probably have private conversations, so that's probably why he selected Shelley. Sierra came up, asked which islander is here more for clout than love, and I'm not surprised by her answer here. She selected Ace. Jeremiah asked, and if y'all rolling your eyes like I am, which islander is the most high maintenance? We all know who he selected. He selected Huda. And she very much could be, but honestly, if he had any other question, unless it was like real shady, I don't think he would have selected any other female. Alondria asked which islander is most likely to fake a relationship to make it to the finals. And I knew my girl was gonna deliver. She said Jeremiah. And I already had a feeling she was gonna say him, because I feel like she sees what I see. She sees what we see. Like, this is all phony and games. Like, you're not tricking nobody. Like, we see it. We see it. So Amaya came up, asked which islander do you think is the most boring. I'm surprised she wasn't gonna throw shade at Ace. She actually selected Nick, but he brushed it off. They laughed about it. Charlie asked which islander is the most flirtatious. He also selected Amaya, which I agree. She is very flirtatious, and she came in like that, and she didn't care, which, that's what the show's for. So she's giving what's supposed to be gave. Huda asked which islander is secretly awaiting someone better to walk in. And she selected Ace. And I'm honest. I mean, I guess I get it to a certain extent. Like, I get it, yeah. Ace has been the most vocalist one out of everybody there. Like, yo, I'm remaining open. So that's why I'm also thinking it's really no secret. She tried to justify it by him bouncing from girl to girl, but he literally, it's only been two girls. Like, it's not like this has been week 4 and he's had like 5 different recouplings. Like, he's only really, because his first coupling ain't last a day, he's only really been coupled up with one person. So I don't know. He took it personal, and I can understand why. And then she was kind of going back and forth, like, even after this challenge, talking to when she had a conversation with Ace about it later, because he did pull her about it. She was like, well, I was either going to say you or Amaya, and I'd rather pie you than, pie Amaya. Like, it wasn't making sense. And I think he's starting to see through her BS as well. So I don't know. We'll see. Nick asks which islander gives big eggplant energy. He selected Austin, which was okay, cool. Taylor asked which Islander is trying too hard. And he selected Amaya, this was another person who did not like their name being called for a question. She was like, "What? Wow, how am I desperate? What do you mean by that? Like, girl, what do you mean? You're trying too hard." And Taylor and her had a conversation again after the challenge, and he explained it right. Like with with the whole thing with Ace, like he was trying to like set boundaries and stuff, and it seemed like it was you trying to go against it or upset about it. So that's what he meant by it. But again, this is all fun and games. Sierra asked which Islander gives you red flag vibes, and she selected Shelley. And at first I was like, hold up, wait a minute. But she also stated that she's been wanting to kiss Shelley. So maybe Sierra. I mean, we've seen it on Love Island before where there have been girls who've been coupled up before. So I don't know. What do y'all think? Do y'all think there could be a thing between Sierra and Shelley? We'll see. Then Ace asked what Islander has the nicest smile, and by no surprise, he selected Shelley, which he was able to share a passionate, juicy kiss with. And then lastly, Austin asked which Islander is most likely to cheat outside of the villa, and he selected Hannah. I didn't understand it, but I guess he just wanted, to get his get back from her pieing him during this challenge. So those questions, I like challenges like this because like it forces you to be honest. But a lot of people didn't. A lot of people did not like what for a lot of people didn't like being selected for certain questions. So after the challenge, the girls get together, they talk about all, the different results of what happened. Amaya's still upset about the whole Taylor situation. But they had a conversation and they squashed that. The girls were also trying to let Huda know, like, yo, Ace may really be upset by you selecting him as secretly waiting someone better to walk in. And she tries to like laugh at it and joke it off, but like I said earlier, like Ace definitely took that personal. He pulled her for a chat all about it. She tried to, she apologized. He knows, and I feel like he doesn't think it's sincere. Like she just be saying whatever. So that was the girls' conversation, but the guys' conversation got even spicier. So when the guys get together and talk about, all the ending results and stuff like that, Ace brings up, how he was not feeling how Huda called him out on that question. It didn't make sense to him. He felt like it was personal. And then Nick kind of co-signed with that. And they both were kind of like feeling like, hey, we just feel like she just be saying whatever, like it's not genuine, or she says things just to say like a safe answer, and that's not how she really feels. Like she just says anything and it's not really exactly how she feels. And Nick even makes a comment like, he looks at Jeremiah, he's like, I mean, we don't expect you to agree, like we know that's your girl or whatever. And Jeremiah's like, well, I don't understand what y'all trying to say, like, but you could see the wheels spinning in his face, and then his whole like aura just changes like completely. Even when the girls come over, Huda, obviously goes directly to him, and she asks, "Are you good?" But like the face he gets, like, bro, you don't have, he does not have a poker face if he thinks he does have one. We can tell there's something on your mind. We can see that you're upset. She can see it. And he's just like, nah, no, we're good. Yeah. And that rubs her the wrong way. And she moves. She goes, sits on, the other side of the sofa. And she's like asking people like, why is he mad at me? Like, they're like, I have no idea why he's mad at you, which then causes her to get up and pull him for a chat. So Huddle pulls him to the side, like trying to figure out what's going on, and she's literally having to pull this out of him. He keeps saying it's nothing, it's nothing, it's nothing, which winds up, I can't stand. We are adults. If you got an issue or a problem, even if I'm pulling you to the side to talk about it, speak on it or say let's speak about it later. But he finally eventually says it was something about pertaining to what the guy said, and how, basically exactly what what they said to him. Like, they don't think her answers are like, genuine, and she just be saying whatever. And of course, that turns her all the way up. She gets upset. She's like, how could you even let that affect you? Like, you know more about me than these guys, and this is why I don't want to open myself up to any of the other guys. But I also need her to realize, well, the guys are probably also saying this because you haven't opened up yourself to any other options, or like we said in the last video, you don't feel approachable to even try to pursue. So they have a right to their feelings. She has a right to her feelings, but I think, like I said in the beginning, like, I think the door is starting to open for Jeremiah. Like, is this something that can really happen? Because her getting hyped up, he says, like I don't want all this drama or whatever and stuff like that. It's definitely a communication error going on between the two of them, and their different communication styles even. So, like, he completely, like, shut down, but it was shutting down because he was in his thoughts. But he needs to learn how to, like, verbalize that to her, like, hey, I just need a moment to think right now. And then she also needs to be aware, okay, he's not being normal. There's something up. Maybe he does need space, or ask that, like, hey, do you need some space so you can, process whatever you need to process? I don't know. So that's how the episode ended. Mom and dad are in the heated argument. We don't know what's going to happen. What's the aftermath if they're able to reconcile and, continue on this relationship that they already established this relationship. I don't know why they're not just saying it. But I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do y'all think Jeremiah may pull the plug, faster than we thought he was? Or what about Huda? Like, do you think this is a red flag for her? Because she also needs to remember, like, this is a potential guy you will be introducing into your child's life. So do you think he has the emotional maturity to handle all that and what it comes with? There's a lot to figure out between these two. But we'll see, I guess, next episode. And then apparently there's more bombshells coming. I'm hoping it's male bombshells since we just had female bombshells. But we'll see. But y'all leave y'all comments on how y'all felt this episode went. And don't forget to like, share, and if you haven't already, subscribe for some more Love Island recaps.